you.
Go. Okay. So as I was saying, we're really excited to have multiple members of our faculty present today for this event. You're going to be hearing from SPAcademy's president, Nicole Bass. You're also going to be hearing from our Director of Information Technology Operations, Chris Scott, Customer Success Manager, Belen Polak, Field Development Manager, Michael Pison, as well as myself, Carissa Hayes, Director of Business Development. So we're really excited about today's event. We're always happy to meet with new groups of individuals to introduce SPAcademy's programs. We're really looking forward to providing some valuable insights to you and some information on how to establish your training programs. So thank you again for joining us. And I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to start us with an introduction of service professionals, just so that you have a good primary foundation of who we are and how SPAcademy came about. So service professionals, established in 2007, was originated from a collaboration of 6 commercial HVAC contractors. And they were aiming to create a peer network, which was focused on best practices, sales training, business growth. So this led to the creation of SP Group, which you see the logo on the left-hand side here. So this is our current active peer network. And this has since expanded to include 22 commercial HVAC contractors across North America. So SP Group now today offers a very diverse range of tools and resources, including training for customer service, project sales, leadership roles, and so much more. One of the other notable outcomes of the growth of service professionals was the development of Connect software, which came about for the SP Group members to utilize as a software to train and manage their sales teams. So essentially that is a product that service professionals has available to this day for anyone who's looking to train and manage sales teams. Another notable milestone for service professionals was the formation of SPAcademy, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So SPAcademy actually stemmed from the development of an in-house training program for technicians that was then granted a national approval by the Department of Labor. So SPAcademy now offers a comprehensive 4-year apprenticeship program, as well as a continuing education program for both senior and union technicians. Now, there was a lot that went into the creation of SPAcademy. So Nicole, can you tell us about why SPAcademy was initially founded and maybe some of the steps that were taken throughout this process to make this such a successful program?
Sure. I just lost absolute control over my slides here, but it started about 8 or 9 years ago. SP Group has always been focused on developing the curriculums and the resources to help a commercial HVAC contractor grow. And about 8 or 9 years ago, we started seeing the real pain of that skilled labor gap, of the recruitment problems as technicians were retiring. We weren't replacing them at the same rate. And so we said, you know what, we're going to build the curriculums and the resources around solving that problem. And you'll see this list here on the right-hand side shows all of the different types of programs that we put on for service managers and operations managers to help recruit in the high quality technicians into their company and make sure that they were the preferred employer in their marketplace. And what we discovered was it wasn't working, and they were implementing as much as they possibly could from what we were training them on. But the reality was that the technicians just weren't out there, or increasingly so. And when you look at it, the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that we have to bring in 41,100 new HVAC technicians to the industry year over year for the next 10 years just to meet the demand. And part of that is because of the retirement rate. So for every new technician we're bringing into the industry currently, 3 are retiring. And on the other part of it is just the growth rate of the industry, which is seeing just excellent numbers, but does present a bit of a problem. So what we see then is that as job opportunities are increasing, the pool of talent that everyone's pulling from is actually decreasing. And this makes technicians free agents of sorts. And what we're seeing is that loyalty's at an all-time low for technicians, because they can quit their job today and have an equal or higher paying job at a competitor or another contractor tomorrow, or the same day, really, because they're in such high demand. And so the solution that we developed was, or that we decided on collectively as a group was, hey, we've got to start building technicians in-house and stop looking for 100% of our workforce from other companies. So then we went on a hunt, right? This is how SP Group does this. We say, okay, well, we're going to start building them in-house. Let's go find that product. Where is the apprenticeship program that we're going to recommend to all of our group? And we want it to meet these 4 criteria. One is it needs to be for commercial contractors, not residential, and not necessarily for pure construction companies, but really the service contractor is the niche that we work in. And we wanted it to have online accessibility to allow for a flexible learning environment and also to cater to the type of student that we're going to be bringing in that's used to that more modern learning environment. We wanted to focus on apprentices and senior technicians. So not just building from green to great, but also being able to continue to build on the existing teams that you already have and increase that loyalty and increase their talent and invest in the existing people you have. And then finally, the last one was future proof. We wanted to make sure that it is modern and that it's not something that's going to be either obsolete or not user friendly in the next 5 years. And just make sure that it was something that we could use for the long haul. And we did not find that product. And that's where we decided that with other partners and Mike Pison, who's on the call here today, who was absolutely instrumental in developing this curriculum, we decided to make it ourselves. And what you'll see here is that it is a nationally approved technician training program that was created by commercial HVAC service contractors for commercial HVAC service contractors. And our mission is to empower commercial mechanical service contractors to grow from within and increase their recruitment and retention rates in times of record high labor demand. We did collaborate with other, experts in the field on this. Not least of which I'm gonna one more shout out on this call in this 5 minutes for Mike Pison and we had multiple contractors who were part of that kind of beta test for us and making sure that the product was the quality that we needed it to be for high quality contractors. All of the partners that we worked with on this were struggling with all the challenges of recruitment, and they all had the common objective of establishing that internal program to attract and retain top talent, invest in their development of their existing workforce, and then create a steady stream of proficient technicians. We have on this slide, took about 36 months to put together. At this point, we're at the 5-year mark. So what we have really invested in over the past 5 years is not just the instructional design and the configuration, but also developing those industry partnerships to help us test and prove out the concept of this program and the quality of it. Getting that Department of Labor approval was a huge win for us. And then we developed the assessment test, which we'll talk to you about here in a minute, that really was critical to making sure that we're applying the right curriculum, the right education to each technician and really customizing their experience. And then the last step for us was that team augmentation. And we're very proud of the team that we've ramped up who are responsible for the onboarding and the support and the mentorship and the guidance that each contractor needs in order to make this a successful program for them. So this has been our process, and it has been a solution to many challenges that we've already mentioned: the labor gap, high demand for technicians, development of the in-house program, recruitment, retention. But let's talk about what SPAcademy is. As an overview, there's 4 components to SPAcademy. One is the assessment tests for senior technicians and for the apprentices. Then there's the 4-year apprenticeship program. We have senior technician continuing education programs, and then a dedicated mentorship offering. For the apprenticeship program, it is nationally approved by the Department of Labor. It has a high quality designation, and so that means it meets the 10 criteria needed to be considered a high quality apprenticeship program. It does consist of a 4-year curriculum that is 144 online classroom hours per year, and then 2,000 on-the-job training hours per year. Now, a technician does not have to begin as a year 1. They can begin as year 2, 3, or 4, and that's really where that assessment test comes in handy, is being able to say, hey, this person can advance based on their prior knowledge. And then they can start as a year 3, and they still need to meet from that point forward the 144 classroom hours per year, which are all online, and then the 2,000 hours of on-the-job training, which is with the contractor. So that's a full-time job. At the end, they will receive a certificate from SPAcademy, as well as from the Department of Labor Office of Apprenticeship, saying that they've completed the program. Now, the curriculum is comprised of 8 industry-leading textbooks, and we do partner with a company called Cengage. Now, they're the largest online textbook provider in the world. And the reason we love partnering with them is not only do we want to make sure that we're using the industry leading textbooks, but they're always going to provide us with the latest edition of this information. So we know that we've got the most modern and relevant information in the industry. The content, as I mentioned before, it is all online. It's incredibly easy to navigate. We use one of the largest online learning management system platforms in the world called Moodle. But on top of that, we've layered on an additional interface that allows it just to be a bit more user-friendly for the management reporting requirements. It is mobile adaptive. 90% of it is mobile adaptive. There's some of the simulations in there that you really need to be sat down at a computer for, but the rest of it is able to be accessed on a phone or a tablet. And we do have diverse content mediums throughout the curriculum. And what that means is that, let's jump to this slide, they're going to see videos, they're going to have reading material, they're going to have presentations, flashcards, simulations, quizzes. There's all kinds of ways that they're learning throughout here rather than it just being reading a textbook or only watching a video series or only doing simulations. It's really a healthy mix of learning mediums to accommodate the different learning styles that students have. Now, if you want to see the full apprenticeship curriculum, you can scan this QR code and you can download all 4 years and see all the content that they're going to go through. But I can't stress enough that the program is a lot more than just, I say just an apprenticeship, is a lot more than the apprenticeship program. And Chris, why don't you tell them a little bit more about what you and your team have worked on in addition to the apprenticeship?
Sure, let's start with the skills assessment test. So the skills assessment test is a way to assess your technicians from your green to great to your continuing education to even your senior technicians. It is actually broken up into 2 parts. First, the questions are about 150 questions, 75 questions per part. They take anywhere from 90 to 120 minutes per part, but I recommend that these technicians take their time on this test. A lot of the continuing education or the senior technicians, they've been with the organization for a long time and been in the trade for a while, and they kind of just breeze through the questions, not really paying attention to the minute changes. And some of these questions, they trick you up a little bit, right? And these questions are generated from the 8 industry textbooks that Nicole just mentioned, and it's about 2,000 questions in total, but they're all random, so no assessment is the same, right? Which is really awesome. And then it's also broken into 2 formats, right? So we have the apprenticeship program assessment, and then we have the continuing education program assessment, right? It'll break it down for you and allow you to see where your strengths and opportunities lie within the technician.
Nope.
There it is. Little transition there, I love it. So with these 2 reports that we're looking at right here, so we got the apprenticeship placement test, right? It's going to show you where your technician ranks from year 1 to 3, right? So where his strengths lie, where his weaknesses are. Like example, in year 1 here, they scored extremely high in controls, but really struggled with the basic HVAC concepts. So they might be set up for year 1, but this assessment is just a knowledge base, right? So you know your technicians better than we ever will, right? Because you're with them on the daily, you understand them, you've been with them for years, or you really built that relationship with that technician. If you believe that maybe he just struggled with the assessment or she struggled with the assessment, and maybe they did really great with the basic HVAC concept, maybe you can push them up to year 2. We take your recommendation into consideration for this. This is very important, right? But we don't want to, jumping the technician all the way to year 3, right? Just because type situation, because they won't grasp those concepts. The testing and the quizzing, they're going to miss on a lot, and they're going to have to actually repeat the test or keep repeating and repeating. We definitely want to get that great assessment so that we know where their strengths and weaknesses are, and we can place them in the year that they're set for. The next report we're looking at is the technician continuing education, right? So with this one, we have sorry, we have 14 different competencies, which air systems, basic HVAC controls, and so far. But it shows where they actually scored within the national average of all the technicians that have taken the skills assessment. This will show you if they scored within the high range or the low range, right? So normally we say if you want to assign them a competency, like say such as air systems, we normally start them about 84%. But once again, we take your recommendation into order with this one, right? We want to make sure that your technicians are set up for success and that they have a successful journey with SPAcademy. Now, this right here is just another a brief overview of all the different competencies that we offer within over 100 different courses, which is just I'm not going to make you read through all this entire list, but there's a ton in there. But we give you a nice overview of what each course is, right, and what details in there. So you can assign the technicians and what they're going to learn and how you can mentor them through the program.
There we go.
Also, right here, if you take a moment, you can actually scan the QR code. The QR code will allow you to download the Senior Technician Catalog. Here will actually give you a detailed description of all the courses that are offered within SPAcademy, and that's over 1,500 hours of learning for them. Definitely download it and see what we offer and one of the great values that we have for SPAcademy.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So once you scan this QR code or even go to the link through our website, it's going to ask you to input your name, your email address, and then you will receive a copy of the 2023 Senior Technician course catalog. So once you have your copy of either the apprenticeship catalog or the continuing education curriculum, you may be looking for some testimonials or some references to reach out to for some feedback. So we provided you with some testimonials here for review. Feel free to reach out to us at any time if you'd like us to put you in touch with some of our existing users of the program. Our contact information will be at the end of the presentation, so feel free to reach out if you are looking for more information. The quote at the bottom there, you can also hear more about this on episode 1 of the Service Professionals podcast. You can hear more about Marissa Avalos's experience going through the apprenticeship program. So you can find this episode and more episodes by visiting either our website or our YouTube channel. And because of all of these positive testimonials and feedback that we've been receiving, we have found that we have yet to have somebody get on this program and then get back off of it. We were getting really great reviews and we feel extremely confident about the program. So what we've started offering is a 30-day free trial. So what we're encouraging you to do is to try it out, even if it's just with a few technicians to start. If you're not happy with it, we will refund you with that first implementation fee. So that being said, we'll take a look at our program investment. So we have 4 different models here. So on the far left is our $4.99 assessment test only. So this is, you don't want the curriculum, you don't want the continuing education or anything, you just want the assessment. So this is for either apprenticeship or senior technician. So this is for one single skills assessment, and you'll receive a digital copy of the report. And if you choose to sign up a technician after the fact for either an apprenticeship or continuing education program, we will credit you for the cost of this assessment test because it is included in the overall cost for the individual or the multi-technician models that you see here. So the individual model, the next one on the list here, is $2,800 per technician per year. So this includes the skills assessment. It's going to include your 12-month program access. And it's also custom branded LMS platform, which means that you're going to have, when they log in, they're going to see your logo, your branded colors. It's going to be completely set up for your organization. And this also, for the individual fee, there is a one-time configuration and orientation fee of $1,500. So moving on to the next segment, which is the multi-tech model. This is for 5 technicians or more. So when you sign up 5 or more technicians, we do reduce that fee down to $2,300 per year per technician. So that includes everything that's in the individual model, but you will get the reduced rate for having 5 or more licenses. And we will waive that $1,500 startup fee as well. There are flexible start times that we should note too for the licenses. So if you had 3 technicians that you were ready to start right away, and maybe 2 other technicians that you wanted to start a few months down the road, that's totally fine. The license kicks in for 12 months as soon as you log in and sign up that technician. So if you wanted to hang on to a couple of licenses, you can absolutely do that. And then lastly, we have our enterprise model. So this is really for organizations that would have a bulk amount of technicians to sign up. So we're willing to work with you on a pricing model for this. This would typically be for around, 30 or 40 technicians, something like that. So we would also work with you on a full training calendar, because this is a lot to take on. There's a lot from implementation and orientation when you have a bulk number like that. We can also help with your internal campaigns, also help generate excitement and involvement in this new initiative.
There's a couple things that you said that I want to just reiterate here. One is that this is branded for you. It's your internal apprenticeship program, and it's powered by SPAcademy, but your teams are going to see your logo, your colors, and understand that this investment's being made by your company. And it's what we've seen is a real sense of pride from the contractors who implement this, as they're able to bring on completely green individuals, or maybe someone just a bit of experience, and know that they're offering a career to these individuals with all of the resources put in place to make that happen. And this is where you're also generating those loyal technicians. The other thing that I wanted to highlight that you'd said, Carissa, just to make sure people caught it, is that if there is a difference in the volume pricing between having 5 technicians on versus 1 or 2. If you wanted to capture the volume pricing, then you can purchase 5 licenses and then hold on to 3 of them until you're ready to use them. We don't start the clock until they log in for the first time. So a couple things I wanted to just reiterate there. And from an ROI standpoint, the simple math on revenue per technician in commercial HVAC is 1 technician represents around $250,000 to $400,000 in revenue. That's the difference between average versus super tech. It also can be the difference in geographic location and in what that technician's bringing in, or what your revenue represents there. When we looked at the pricing models and you compare it to local costs for community colleges or technical schools, we know that we are well within an affordable price range for contractors to implement this program. We want it to be affordable. We want to contribute to the industry, and we want to make sure that you can bring on as many technicians as possible without the educational component being the part that prohibits you from doing that. From a time investment standpoint, we have, if you look at the 144 classroom hours per year for an apprenticeship program, that equals 24 minutes a day for an apprentice, or 3 hours a week, or 12 hours a month. What we see more often than not is that technicians want to really heavily load up the shoulder months. So where it's not too hot, not too cold, and they're not going to have a million work orders to go tackle at the same time. And even with having some months where there may have some non-school hours or minimized school hours, they're still able to accomplish their 144 classroom hours well within that 12-month time frame. In fact, we often get contacted to say, hey, I've finished my hours. Can I move on to year 3, or can I move on to year 4? And the answer is always the same. You can, but you're not considered a year 3 or year 4 apprentice until you've also completed the 2,000 hours on the job learning. So the time commitment on the apprenticeship program, not a concern at all. For senior technicians, you can assign them as many hours per year as you want. So on average, we're seeing about 74 hours of continuing education assigned through SPAcademy, and that equals about 12 minutes a day, or an hour and a half a week, or 6 hours a month. But this is all self-paced learning. So your technicians can move as quickly or take their time as they want. We do recommend and we'll work with you to help them establish goals, and then equally as importantly, celebrate those goals whenever they accomplish what it is that we set up for them. It's a huge part of making this a win for you and a win for them as well. So from a financial commitment and a time commitment standpoint, these are all very achievable things. And the next thing that we had to look at was, hey, what's the startup commitment? Because once you've got a program going, I think everyone knows, like, once you've got something going, it's way easier to keep something going than it is to get something going. So what is my commitment for adopting the program, for getting it started up? And fortunately, we have experts in customer success. I'm going to have our customer success manager talk you through this. Belinda, tell us a bit about the startup commitment for getting a program like this up and running.
Of course, Nicole. As she mentioned, we put together a guideline to help you get started. It consists of 8 easy steps that you can just take care of. The first one will be assign a manager. This person will be best represented by like an HR person or an admin person to just help you administer the program. Then you will have to assign a mentor. The best person for this job will have to be a field supervisor or a senior tech, just so they can help you with any technical questions that your technicians might have. The next step will be how many technicians. This will be based on your budget and internal needs for training. Then we have the selection process. You can set up an application to help you determine who are the technicians that are going to be in the program. And we have seen a bunch of companies that have succeeded that way. Then you have to decide if you want to assign them into the Department of Labor or not. You just have to let us know and we'll send you all the documents required by the Department of Labor to get you started. Then learning tools. You can set up a learning center for your technicians to do the simulations, but most of the curriculum can actually be done in a tablet or a phone if your technicians already have those. Then you can set up a learning schedule for them. This is best. This is the best practice for you, so that way your technicians can have a better flow on the curriculum. And the last one will be choosing a kickoff day. This is to just generate excitement between your team and our team to just help you get your technicians started. Everything that I mentioned, we actually put it together in a PDF format. If you scan the QR code in your screen, you can actually receive it. So I'll just give you a couple of seconds to scan it if you want to receive that. All right. Then the next one will be our support. So our support team actually has an average time of 32 minutes at the moment. We can do tickets by email. You can call us. The platform itself will have a section where you can actually submit the ticket. We can also schedule a Zoom meeting to our Calendly link that it's also going to be on the platform. And our team is bilingual, so we can offer support in English and Spanish for you and your technicians.
I just want to point out here that 32 minutes is not like a wait time to get support. 32 minutes is the time to resolution, meaning that from the moment you submit an email or from the moment you submit a support ticket or any issue has been addressed, that whether in most cases it's a training issue, just needed additional support and a reminder on how to do something. The average time to resolve is 32 minutes. So very, very quick. We're very proud of our support team that's led by Belen.
Yeah, and then for you, the responsibilities that we will need from you, it would just be collect feedback from your technicians and mentors, analyze the feedback from process improvement, review technician progress through crosswork, and mentor technicians throughout challenges. Those are some best practices that we have seen work. And lastly, what took us years to build, you can actually implement in just 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Belen. And we've seen it time and time again. Our partner contractors are seeing positive results and they're providing us with that encouraging feedback as well. Some of these key results you can see here, all of our partner contractors are experiencing a higher level of employee retention. They're all encountering less difficulty in attracting top talent. They all have a promising pipeline of future technicians. And now they all have the ability to expand into the future as well. So if you have any thoughts or questions on any of the information that was provided today, we are opening the floor for questions. Please feel free to enter your question into the chat box, but I do encourage you to please stick around until the Q&A session is complete because we will have an announcement about some new initiatives that are happening this fall. So we're looking forward to your questions.
Now, while we wait on the questions to come in, Carissa, I was looking at one of the quotes that we had on the testimonials. And I remember talking to that company about their churn rate on technicians, new technicians coming in. And what they said was that they were experiencing a 40% churn rate. And that was surprising to me because I knew that they were using SPAcademy. And I was actually kind of disheartened to hear it a little bit. I was like, oh no, that sounds terrible. And I said, what's your churn rate on technicians, like technicians who come in and then leave in the first 18 months? That was their criteria for churn, was 18 months. And I said, what is that churn rate for the technicians on SPAcademy? And they said 0. They had 0 that they had put on the program and that had left. So any questions here from anybody?
I don't see any coming in yet.
Okay, no worries. Well, if you guys are thinking of any questions, I'm going to go ahead and move forward and I'll tell you about what's coming up this fall. So we are rewriting the platform for SPAcademy. So you'll see this is the new version that's coming out this fall, actually in about a month. And you can ignore some of the images here, look a little bit like what, but it's because it's just the design files. What we're excited about is our ability to offer you content from other providers in the industry. So you'll have the SPAcademy content, but also providers like Interplay Learning, Smart Buildings Academy. There's several others that we've already gotten the confirmation on that they'll be putting their content on this platform. The goal here is to make sure that your technicians don't have to log in to 13 different learning management systems to get their education. So we don't negotiate any special pricing on behalf of these other content providers. We just want to make sure that it's all easily accessible through one platform. And that's what we're going to be rolling out to you. The other thing that we're going to be doing this later this winter is rolling out, oops, sorry, there's that, a mobile app. So here's a few slides, design slides for the mobile app. And this is for the on-the-job training component of the program. The curriculum itself, the classroom training, which is all online, has already proven to be very excellent and high quality. On-the-job training has been left it's left up to the contractor to make sure that that technician is getting the number of hours that they need in the different competencies. So make sure that they're not just at the end of 4 years. What we don't want are essentially filter changers with really great education through the textbooks. We want to make sure that they're getting the competencies that they need out in the field. And this is a great way to set those up and then track those. So you'll see in the far left, this on-the-job training tracker. It'll show that years 1 and 2 are complete and they're in year 3 right now. And so what we're tracking are the hours that they have to submit. So it's going to be 2,000 hours per year. And then also we're layering in an additional component called competencies. The Department of Labor does not require that certain competencies are checked. This is to ensure that you are developing quality technicians and that you feel confident in the capabilities of your technicians as they're going through this program. So in the second slide here, what you see is they're tracking their hours just like they're doing today. And that's also in the third slide. You can see it's a very modern platform, allows them to upload a work ticket or take a picture of their work order and load that. And then on the fourth slide is when we get into the competencies. We're going to preload this with what we recommend they should be able to accomplish in years 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll have the ability to adjust that if you want to. So if there's a certain, if you're not as concerned about hydronics because it's not something that your technician is going to be heavily focused on, you can supplement or I guess exchange those competencies with others or remove them altogether. Like I said, this type of reporting is not required by the Department of Labor. It's just to make sure we're creating quality technicians. Each one of these competencies will have the option for the technician to sign off on it and say, yes, I can do that. And then once they submit it for review, their supervisor or somebody who witnessed them do that task is also going to be able to sign off on it and say, yes, they can do that. And this just allows us a little bit of a check and balance to make sure, once again, that these guys are getting the necessary skills out in the field to complement the classroom training. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. My favorite quote that I've seen in a long time. It's a Chinese proverb, but it says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. If you had implemented an in-house apprenticeship program for your company 4 years ago or 5 years ago, where would you be today? And how does that compare to where you are now? It takes 2 weeks to implement this program, and then some fine tuning that we will be alongside partnered with you all throughout getting this established and implemented. And then you're creating more loyal technicians, you're recruiting better, and you've got better skill out in the field as you are growing your business. So just want you to consider that. And if you want to reach out to us, you can book a meeting with us through this QR code, or you can just, you can email us. You see all of our email addresses there and our phone number. You're also welcome to visit our website at spacademy-hvac.com to learn more about these programs. And I just want to thank you for joining us today.
I have one question, Nicole.
Oh, there is one? I missed it.
There's one question.
If an employee is great, is engaged in the program but leaves employment, what happens to the fee paid by the company? That is the fee is already paid. Once the license has been assigned to a technician, it's assigned to that technician. So we don't do refunds for an employee leaving the company. If it's within the 30-day trial period, then that would fall under the 30-day trial period. But otherwise, there is not like a reassignment fee.
We also had one come in that says, I just graduated from high school and I would like for this skill to be my profession. I don't have any knowledge about this skill, but I was wondering about the process about getting started in the fall.
Yep. So we work with a lot of contractors who are on SPAcademy. And if you're interested, first of all, the majority of them, like 80% of them, are listed on jointhetrades.com. So you can go and find a contractor there. So you type in your zip code and you'll find your local contractors. And if you don't see anybody locally on jointhetrades.com, then just email us at one of these email addresses and we'll let you know if we have somebody in that area who is not listed on jointhetrades.com that we could connect you with. And on top of that, if we don't have any SPAcademy employers in your area, which is unlikely because we have them just about everywhere now, but if we don't, then one route that you can go is to contact your local union if you're interested in exploring what a union career would look like. There are great companies that are union. There are great companies that are non-union. So I wouldn't necessarily say that you got to do one or the other. SPAcademy companies are all non-union companies, and except for senior tech. Anyway, different conversation. So, and another thing you could do is just research your local contractors and contact them directly and just say, hey, I'm a recent graduate from high school and I'm interested in exploring careers in this trade. Mike, what would you recommend on top of that?
On top of that, Rapids is a great site to look up your local contractors that actually have in-house apprenticeship programs in addition to ours. So if there's somewhere that it doesn't have SP or this amazing program, they can put in their zip code and find people that are contractors that are close to them.
So they would just visit rapids.com?
Yeah, I think it is Workforce GPS.
Workforce GPS. Okay.
Yeah, Workforce GPS, and they can put in their zip code and find that.
Does the state of Connecticut recognize your training as a qualified program to obtain license? Yes, we already have licensed contractors in Connecticut using SPAcademy that are recognized by the state of Connecticut. You do have to have, what is it? It's each state is different. In Connecticut, you have to have a licensed technician on staff in order to qualify as an apprenticeship program, in order for your company to qualify as an apprenticeship program. But once you reach that point, yes, you can use SPAcademy as your program. Any other questions, guys, before we call it? All right. Sounds like we did a good job of answering the questions in the presentation. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Carissa, for hosting, and thanks for to all of our speakers today. If you'd like a copy of this recording, please feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to send it your way. Otherwise, have a great day and we will catch you on the next one.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.